Welcome to the Inner Ascent, a journey beyond the surface. Each week, we distill powerful insights in mindset, health, personal evolution, and conscious growth. Unlock the layers of your mind, one ascent at a time.
What if the reality you experience isn't fixed, but more like a reflection of your deepest thoughts, your intentions? And what if failures, aren't really dead ends, but actually just detours, maybe leading you exactly where you need to go?
Okay.
And what if true control isn't about fighting everything, but actually about letting go?
These aren't just philosophical musings, are they? These are really the core questions in the sources you've shared with us today.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we unpack your sources, dig into the details, and hopefully uncover some surprising insights. Basically give you that shortcut to being truly well-informed.
Yeah. Today,
We're diving into a really fascinating collection of materials on something called Reality Transurfing. It's described as this powerful technique that, your sources say it promises something even greater than a miracle.
Which is?
The ability to consciously control your own destiny.
It's a huge claim. It's a fascinating philosophy. Our mission here for this deep dive is really to explore how it suggests we can consciously shape our lives. Maybe move beyond those, typical self-help methods that often just feel like more hard work.
Right. More struggle.
Exactly. We want to reveal the core concepts, the practical applications, and show you how you might navigate life with maybe a bit more conscious intention.
And like you've seen in the materials, the heart of it really is this idea that transurfing sees reality as a dual mirror.
Okay, the dual mirror.
Yeah. You can't influence the reflection just by touching the mirror, right? Instead, you actually have to change the image you're projecting.
It sounds simple on the surface.
It does, but really getting it, understanding what that means, that can shift everything. So let's unpack this.
Absolutely. So the foundational metaphor here is that the world is like a mirror, which reflects your relationship to it. So if you fight the world, it kind of reflects that struggle right back at you. But if you stop battling, it actually seems to come towards you, meet you halfway.
So it's not just a nice poetic idea then, is that what the sources are saying?
No, they're pretty clear. They argue reality has both a physical side, the stuff we see and touch, and also this metaphysical side, like an unseen dimension holding all the possibilities.
Right. And what's really interesting, I thought, was this idea that the mirror doesn't react instantly.
The delay.
Yeah, there's a delay, sometimes days, sometimes months, apparently, before your new image, your new attitude maybe is reflected back. It's like a cosmic lag or something.
It is. And what's truly fascinating underpinning all this is the concept of the alternative space.
Ah, yes, the alternative space.
Which, essentially stores the scripts for all possible events. Imagine it as just infinite, a vast, vast library containing everything that was, is, or ever could be. So our current reality, the life you're living right now, is simply one material manifestation, one choice out of countless alternatives.
That's a truly startling idea, isn't it? One of the sources puts it like this: lifelines exist like a reel of film. Things that have happened in the past do not just disappear, and what has yet to be in the future is already present here in the now.
It really messes with your idea of time.
Totally. It suggests our experiences are incredibly unique, too. Different neighborhoods within the same town, each person is kind of experiencing their own personal reality within that bigger shared world.
Which naturally brings up a big question for us.
Right.
How does our thought energy connect to this huge alternative space?
Right. How do we influence it?
Well, transurfing suggests that a person's thought energy can quite literally materialize a specific sector of this space.
Materialize it, make it real.
Yeah. But it's not just any thought. It happens when the feelings of the heart are perfectly aligned with the thoughts of the mind. That specific kind of united thought energy is what transforms a potential alternative into your physical reality.
So it's not just wishful thinking making something happen.
Not at all.
The powerful insight here seems to be that your deepest, underlying beliefs, they aren't just abstract thoughts floating around, they're blueprints.
Blueprints, it's a good way to put it.
So if your expectations are, pessimistic, full of doubt, well, guess what? they'll be confirmed. But if you truly allow the world to, as the sources say, save the cream for you, that's what will manifest. It feels like a very direct connection they're describing, undeniable almost.
And they even bring in dreams as sort of compelling evidence for this alternative space.
Oh, yeah, the dream stuff was wild.
Right. They're not just random illusions or, your brain processing the day. Transurfing suggests they actually reflect real events, things that might have happened on another lifeline or might still happen.
So when we sleep,
when our conscious mind dozes off, our soul, as they put it, actually travels uninhibitedly through this alternative space.
Okay, here's where it got really interesting for me. The sources suggest our brain doesn't actually store information like a computer hard drive.
Right. That's a big one.
Instead, it seems to be accessing these patterns from the alternative space.
Like tuning into a frequency.
Exactly. And there's this fascinating detail. In dreams, your physical appearance can apparently even change to reflect whichever sector of the alternative space you're currently visiting.
Wild.
And they even give a tip. Apparently, for more vivid dreams, you might want to try sleeping with your head pointing north.
Worth a try, maybe.
Who knows? But okay, as we're navigating this complex reality, this mirror world, we inevitably bumped into these unseen forces. Your sources call them pendulums.
Ah, yes, pendulums.
Yeah.
Let's get into those. They're defined as informational energetic entities born from the collective thought energy of living beings.
Okay, informational energetic entities, so not physical.
Not physical, no. Think of them more like structures that unite groups of people. They act almost like a self-sustaining algorithm or a thought form with momentum.
So like a popular trend could be a pendulum or a strong political movement, something that just seems to sweep people up.
Precisely. They become these self-sustaining systems, and they're driven by our collective attention and, crucially, our emotions.
Okay.
And what's really surprising, as you noted from the sources, is that these pendulums seem to thrive on negative human energy.
Negative? Like what?
Things like dissatisfaction, irritation, frustration, anger, worry, fear, all that stuff, they literally get stronger from our inner turmoil. And they also feed on battles between other pendulums.
You can almost see them at work in daily life then, can't you?
Oh, definitely.
Like the sources mention that pedestrian who just somehow steps right in front of you and blocks your path.
Annoying, right?
Or that constant stream of bad weather forecasts or flu season warnings. It's like they're encouraging negative engagement.
Exactly. These are subtle, everyday ways pendulums operate, trying to hook you, pull you into their rhythm, get you vibrating at their frequency.
And they also create stereotypes and norms, don't they?
Yeah, they often subtly lead people away from their true path, what their soul really wants, by presenting these ersatz-like surrogate ideas of success.
What's goals? Like what?
Things like just chasing fame for fame's sake, or money is the only goal, instead of focusing on what truly fulfills your soul deep down.
Right.
And you'll notice how they fuel conflict. They thrive on creating contradistinction, that whole we are good and they are bad mentality. Divisiveness feeds them.
Okay, so how do they actually get a grip on us? The sources talk about importance, right?
Yes, importance is key. Both inner importance, like how significant you feel a situation is, how much ego you attach to it, and outer importance, how much you value something external, like an outcome or an object.
And this creates excess potential. What is that exactly?
Think of excess potential as an energetic distortion, an imbalance. When you cling to something with really intense desire, or conversely, when you resist something with overwhelming fear or anger or hatred, you generate this imbalance.
Like static electricity.
Sort of. It's like putting way too much pressure on one point in the energy field. The universe, in essence, tries to balance things out, release that pressure. And often it does that by manifesting the very thing you're focusing on so intensely, whether you want it or not.
Wow. So the catch is, as the sources say, the stronger your desire to avoid something, the more likely it is that you will encounter it.
Exactly. Actively fighting what you don't want just feeds it energy, ensures its presence in your reality mirror.
So if you're constantly worried about bad weather ruining your picnic,
you're more likely to get rain.
Or if you just hate your noisy neighbors.
They'll probably get louder, or more annoying neighbors will move in.
Or if you intensely fear something specific happening, you're basically drawing it closer.
You're creating the excess potential that the balancing forces will then try to eliminate, often by bringing that very thing about.
That's a heavy thought, isn't it? It means our internal state, how much importance we attach, has this direct, almost immediate external consequence.
It really does. And it's similar with guilt, too. Your sources mention that the feeling of guilt generates punishment in all sorts of forms, from tiny little inconveniences right up to huge problems.
Okay, so this all sounds a bit bleak. How do we get free from these pendulum strings?
It does sound bleak, but there's a path to freedom. The core advice is reduce importance and go with the flow.
Go with the flow. That sounds passive.
It's not about indifference or being passive, actually. It's about conscious awareness. You don't fight the pendulums, you don't judge them, you don't get angry at them. You just sort of accept their right to exist, acknowledge them, and then consciously withdraw your energy. Ignore them.
Because any opposition just feeds them.
Exactly. Any position of opposition supplies the pendulum with energy. You're playing their game.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but also, profoundly difficult for most of us. We're kind of hardwired to fight for what we want or fear what we don't. How do you really start to reduce importance in a practical way? Especially when you're facing genuinely stressful stuff. The sources mentioned an anecdote, didn't they? About someone on a tram.
Ah, yes. Story about the friend who encountered some toughies on a tram. Instead of reacting with fear or aggression, the expected response, he did something completely extraordinary and unexpected.
What did he do?
The details aren't as important as the principle. He acted completely outside the pendulum's usual script. By doing that, he essentially stopped its swing. He broke the pattern.
Ah, okay.
It's about being empty in that moment, meaning having no importance attached to the situation or the outcome. If you're empty energetically, there's nothing for the pendulum's hook to catch onto. You're not feeding it.
Fascinating. So, okay. If the world is this mirror and these unseen pendulums are constantly trying to pull us off course by playing on our sense of importance, how do we consciously direct our reflection? How do we become the architects rather than just reacting? This must bring us to transurfing's idea of intention.
Exactly. And this is where transurfing gets really practical and differentiates itself. It talks about 3 distinct forms of intention, moving way beyond just simple desire.
Okay, 3 forms. What's the first?
First, there's just desire. This is simply concentration of attention on a goal, but crucially, it has no inherent power on its own. Your sources say it's just foam on the crest of the wave. It doesn't actually make things happen.
Okay, so desire is just a wish, basically. Not enough. What's next?
Next up is inner intention. This is the concentration of attention on movement towards the goal. This is what most of us think of as willpower, determination, effort.
Right, pushing, struggling.
Exactly. It requires effort, struggle, trying to influence the world directly through your actions. This is the traditional way, the often exhausting way, we try to achieve things.
Okay, makes sense. And the third one. This must be the key.
This is the game changer. Outer intention. This is defined as the concentration of attention on how the goal can be achieved, but not in a planning sense. It's more like focusing on the fact of achievement. This is where the world itself meets you halfway.
How does that work?
It's described as the decision to have at the same time as the abandonment of the need to achieve. You choose it, you know it's yours, but you let go of the struggle.
Ah, this is the aha moment you highlighted from the sources, isn't it? The difference between trying to move a pencil just with your thoughts.
Yes, that's inner intention struggling against reality.
Versus shifting your awareness to a different lifeline, a different possibility in the alternative space, where the pencil is already in a different position.
Exactly. Outer intention doesn't force reality. It chooses a different reality from the space of variations.
That distinction is, well, it's profound. It reframes everything. It's like the universe isn't something you have to battle, but rather a sea of possibilities you choose your path through.
Precisely.
And for that choice, that outer intention to actually have power, it needs that unity of heart and mind you mentioned earlier, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The sources emphasize this strongly. The thought energy that truly embodies potential in reality, that makes things manifest, is born from this unity.
Heart and mind together.
Yes. The heart, which represents your subconscious, your soul, perhaps understands what the sources call the language of the soul. It receives information directly from the alternatives space that's basically your intuition.
Okay.
The mind then tries to translate that intuition, often into logical thoughts or words. But the original signal comes from the heart.
So a really crucial tip here is to pay attention to your heart's intuitive feelings, especially, as the sources say, a feeling of innate tension in response to a decision made by the mind.
That tension is key.
That's your heart essentially saying, nope, wrong way. Even if your mind thinks it's a perfectly logical, sensible idea.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond just belief, which always has room for doubt, towards true knowledge. That deep inner knowing that comes when heart and mind are aligned. Knowledge is absolute. Belief wavers.
And this alignment, this inner knowing, leads us directly to finding your true goal, right? Not the ersatz goals the pendulums push.
Yes. Your sources introduce this interesting soul box concept. It suggests that pendulums often teach the soul that it's not really welcome here, that it has to struggle, that life is hard.
But transurfing says
the core message is clear. Your soul did not come into the material world to suffer. It came to experience, to create, to celebrate.
And what's really emphasized is that your true goal is unique to your soul. It's located in your star sector, as they call it. And achieving it brings genuine personal happiness. It turns life into a celebration.
And crucially, the sources are very clear. Your goal benefits only you.
Only you. That sounds
It sounds it, but think about it differently. It means you shouldn't try to justify your goal based on how it helps others, at least not initially. So, for example, don't think about how to get rich in order to travel the world. Focus purely on the travel itself, the feeling, the experience.
And the money.
The money, or whatever resources you need, will come to you because it's an accompanying attribute to achieving that true soul goal. It follows the goal. It doesn't precede it.
So you just have to allow yourself to have the goal, even if it seems totally impossible right now.
Yes. Indulge the thought. Order the full program, as they say. Don't just aim for a little boat if what your soul really wants is the yacht. Allow yourself the bigger vision.
And here's that surprising bit again. The soul is described as egoistic. It cares primarily about its own well-being and expression.
Which means that trying to connect your goal too strongly to others' happiness, especially if that altruism comes purely from the mind trying to be good, can actually hinder your own manifestation. It dilutes the focus.
Okay, so once you have this true goal, how do you work with it using outer intention? Your sources talk about slides.
Yeah, visualization slide or target slides. A target slide is essentially a vivid mental picture of the goal as if it had already been reached.
So like affirmations or vision boards?
Similar, but maybe more dynamic. It's not just static daydreaming. It's a specific, focused technique. And importantly, it's not just visualizing the end goal itself.
Oh, what else?
Your sources highlight something really specific. What moves you towards the goal is to visualize the process of moving towards the goal rather than to contemplate the goal itself.
Visualize the process, like seeing yourself taking the steps.
More like seeing the goal itself, perfecting and growing daily in your inner reality, feeling the movement towards it, living in that slide as if it's unfolding now.
Okay, that's a subtle but important distinction. And they also mention lucid dreaming.
Yeah, if you happen to be someone who practices lucid dreaming, you can apparently use it to widen your comfort zone, to get comfortable with the feeling of having already achieved these new realities.
Makes sense. And I imagine consistency is crucial here.
Absolutely. Because materialization, the reflection in the mirror, is gradual. They describe it as being like resin slowly hardening. So consistent visualization, holding that slide is key. And crucially, don't worry about the how. Let outer intention handle the details.
Right, letting go of the need to control the how. Okay, so moving into actually living with this awareness day to day, energy management seems pretty fundamental.
It really is. The sources state that our physical bodies don't actually store free cosmic energy directly. Having high personal energy depends more on having wide, clear, energetic meridians or channels.
Like pipes for energy flow.
Kinda, yeah. And they suggest an exercise for this, the energy fountains visualization.
Energy fountains, how does that work?
You visualize ascending energy coming up from the earth and descending energy coming down from the cosmos, flowing through you and forming this protective sphere around you. It's meant to strengthen your energetic shell, keep your channels clear.
Sounds like a way to literally recharge and protect yourself. And if you're dealing with health issues.
The message there is pretty direct. To reclaim your former state of health, all ties with pendulums must be cut. You have to stop feeding the illness pendulums with your fear, worry, and attention.
Stop giving them energy. It keeps coming back to that.
It does. And this ties directly into another key concept. The coordination of intention, or sometimes called coordination of importance.
Coordination. What is that?
Transurfing suggests that every event, every moment on your current lifeline basically presents a fork in the road. There are always at least two branches extending from it. One leading to a more favorable outcome, the other to an unfavorable one.
And what determines which branch you take?
Your attitude, your perception in that moment, how you choose to frame the event.
Okay, this sounds really powerful. This is where the sources say something truly ingenious, right?
Yeah, this is brilliant. If you choose to perceive seemingly negative changes in the script as positive, that is what their outcome will be.
Wow. So something bad happens, but you consciously decide, okay, this is actually leading to something good for me, and then it does.
That's the idea. It's how you counter that self-fulfilling prophecy effect. Like when people say bad things always happen in threes, that's just negative coordination. By choosing a positive frame, you shift onto the favorable branch of the alternative space. It gives you back control, but not through force, through conscious choice of attitude.
You're not just reacting, you're actively co-creating the script moment by moment.
Exactly. Now, shifting to how we engage with other people, transurfing offers a really interesting take on like the art of giving versus getting.
Okay.
It says to attract attention to yourself, it is enough to show interest in others. It's about flipping the intention. Shift from an inner intention to get something from them, attention, respect, whatever, to an outer intention focused on simply giving.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. The sources are quite clear. If you want respect, show genuine respect to others first. If you want gratitude, offer sincere care. If you want people to like you, give sympathy or understanding. If you need support, help others first.
So in all these situations, the idea is that you're almost guaranteed to experience the very thing you stop trying to get and start trying to give.
That's the principle of the mirror, reflecting your intention. You let go of the neediness, the getting energy, and the world reflects back the giving energy you're projecting.
That's really applicable. What about dealing with criticism? That's always tricky.
Yeah, the advice here is quite counterintuitive too. Don't jump to defend your mistakes. Instead, consciously acknowledge them. If someone criticizes you, find some point you can genuinely agree with them on.
Just agree. Even if you think they're mostly wrong. Why does that work?
Because it completely disarms the battle for self-assertion. When you agree, even partially, you take all the energy out of their attack. There's no opposition for the conflict pendulum to latch onto. It often just fizzles out. It leaves the other person a bit disarmed, maybe even more open to seeing your side afterwards.
It stops the swing of that particular pendulum.
Precisely. It's a very effective strategy for navigating conflict without getting sucked in.
Okay, so bringing this all together, we finally arrive at what your sources call the wanderer's path. Who is the wanderer?
Wanderer is you, potentially. It speaks directly to the listener. If you do not want to live like everyone else, if you aspire to live this one life to the fullest, then you are a wanderer.
So it's someone choosing not to just follow the herd, not to be pulled along by pendulums?
Exactly. The wanderer chooses their fate consciously, rather than letting fate just happen to them.
And this leads to that intriguing concept, forward into the past. What does that mean? It sounds like time travel.
It does, but it's not literal time travel. It's more metaphorical, but with real effects. By shedding those limiting beliefs, dropping importance, cutting ties with negative pendulums, and consciously choosing your true soul path, you can effectively return to the past.
How so?
In the sense of regaining the freshness, the hope, the joy, the feeling of infinite possibility that you might have had on earlier, more aligned lifelines. Maybe like recapturing the feeling of childhood wonder, but with adult awareness. It's described as a real, tangible shift in your personal reality that feels like reclaiming a lost, more vibrant part of yourself.
That's a beautiful idea. And ultimately, underlying all of this, the sources seem to offer a truly liberating perspective on problems themselves.
They do. The bottom line is, problems as such do not actually exist.
They don't exist, but they feel very real.
What really exists, according to transurfing, is an artificially inflated evaluation of the importance of things. It's the excess potential we create around situations.
So it's not about fighting the problem or trying to suppress difficult emotions.
No, because that just creates more excess potential. It's about changing your attitude toward the situation. Reduce the importance.
Importance is the only cause.
That's the claim. Importance is the root cause of the energy imbalance that manifests as a problem. So the key is to give yourself, as they say, the luxury of having shortcomings. Stop beating yourself up. Focus on your strengths. Release that crippling importance.
This whole deep dive into reality transurfing, it really feels like it's revealed a comprehensive map, doesn't it? A map for more conscious living.
It really does. It suggests you're not just a puppet of circumstance passively watching the reflection. You actually have the helm.
And you have the wind of outer intention ready to guide you if you choose to hoist the sail, navigating through that vast alternative space.
And maybe, as we close, we can leave you with this provocative thought.
That's something to chew on. This deep dive, this whole exploration today, has hopefully shed some light on what that choice, that real choice, truly entails.
So the question becomes, Will you just keep observing your reflection, maybe complaining about it? Or will you start to consciously choose the image you project?
Will you allow the world to meet you halfway? Will you dare to manifest your unique path? We invite you just to consider maybe one aspect of your personal reality you might start shifting today. Just one thing.
What dream, maybe big or small, will you finally allow yourself to have?
Think about it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into reality transurfing.
Thank you. It's been fascinating.
You've been listening to The Inner Ascent, where growth begins from within. If today's reflection resonated with you, consider sharing it or revisiting it later. Until next time, stay aware, stay curious, and keep rising.